Action 2 News at 5 begins this evening with breaking news. Wisconsin now under a state of emergency as widespread flooding closes roads, schools, and forces evacuations.
It's gotten bad before, but like when we had the flash floods last year. But this is a whole different monster.
Plus, new information tonight. A 40-year wait may finally be over for the families of Ellen Matthews and David Scholdes. What investigators say helped them finally make an arrest in this cold case. This is coverage you can count on.
And it begins right now.
From WBAY TV, coverage you can count on. Action 2 News at 5 starts now.
Neighborhood after neighborhood, community after community underwater tonight. Dozens of residents forced from their homes, wondering when they'll be able to return and worried what they'll find when they do.
Well, it came so fast we couldn't believe it. Just soon when we were just flooded. And
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Bill and Cammie are off tonight. As you just heard, many were surprised how quickly those floodwaters came on. As our chief meteorologist Steve Balon explained at 4, that's because 8 inches of snow melted in just the last 48 hours.
And of course, the rain didn't help either, and waterways were just unable to keep up, causing them to spill over. And just in the last half hour, Governor Tony Evers has declared a statewide emergency because of the widespread flooding. We have crews in some of the flooded communities in our area right now. We'll take you to those locations in just a moment, but first let's head over to severe weather specialist Brad Spakowitz in Storm Center 2. And Brad, any more concerning weather headed our way?
I think we're going to have a little bit of a break, but for the time being, the flooding obviously continues, and much of east central Wisconsin continues with a flood warning. It was set to expire at 3:45 a.m. That has been extended to 3:45 p.m. tomorrow. So again, it's a flood warning for that entire shaded area, which is the bulk of east central Wisconsin, and additionally, especially so near these rivers and streams. So it's going to take a while for these floodwaters to recede. Otherwise, there's Storm Center 2 snow tracker, and of course we had some spotty snow showers and flurries. There's likely still a few flakes around now, and you see some other snow showers approaching from the northwest. Should have little additional moisture there. But for your evening, it's going to be chilly, 30s mostly, with wind chills in the 20s. We'll be talking more about this, and more importantly, we're going to talk about your weekend forecast, and we'll talk a little bit more about the flooding. That's coming up in Maine weather in a couple of minutes.
Brad, thanks. And just in the last 2 hours, a disaster declaration was declared in Brown County. It comes as countless roads remain closed in several communities. You can see them marked on this map from the county. Since last night, some residents have been asked to either stay in their homes or evacuate. This afternoon, Howard police told residents on Valley Lane they needed to pack a bag and evacuate. Officers and firefighters went door to door to make sure residents got out safely. Gas was shut off to homes with water in their basements. Green Bay Community Church on Cardinal Lane is serving as an emergency shelter for those residents. And Preble High School on the east side of Green Bay is also serving as a shelter. Green Bay area schools were closed today because of the flooding. Residents using that shelter tell us this ordeal has been emotional. We'll hear from them tonight on Action 2 News at 6.
And some of those at Preble High School were evacuated from their homes on Hartung Street in Green Bay near the East River. Major parts of the street still underwater tonight, and the city now under an emergency declaration. Mackenzie Amundsen joins us live from the Hartung neighborhood where water levels continue to change. Mackenzie.
Jeff, I've driven around to a lot of road closures today to see some of the flooding in the area for myself. I first arrived here on Hartung Street at around 9 o'clock this morning. You can see some of the standing water still here behind me, and it's hard to say, but it doesn't look like that water has gone down at all in the last several hours. It's those dangerous water levels and the road closed signs that stop drivers from traveling through these neighborhoods. Hartung Street intersects with East Mason Street, which is also largely shut down because of high water. While some people were forced to stay inside of their homes today, others still tried to go out and go to work. This maintenance and plumbing crew stopped at what used to be a child care center to do work on the building. They say it's not the scene they expected when they arrived, but they still consider themselves lucky.
We're still able to get into the building here, so we can still work. We just kind of got to park further down the road and get in, but at least this building isn't flooded yet.
You can see the car stranded here behind me in the floodwaters. It has been there all day, and it's a good illustration to show just how high that water is going above that front bumper. Now, it is important to remember that road closures are for your safety so that you don't end up in a situation like that. You can find an updated list of those road closures on our website, WBAY.com. Live in Green Bay, Mackenzie Amundsen, Action 2 News.
Mackenzie, thanks. And all those road closures and the evacuations, the rescues and those shelters, that was all coordinated from inside the Brown County Emergency Operations Center. We were allowed inside this morning, where officials had been monitoring the flooding since yesterday morning on little to no sleep as the rising water kept them scrambling to keep everyone safe and dry.
About 7 o'clock yesterday morning, Paul Fontecchio at the Highway Department called me and said, hey, we're going to have some water issues today, I'm pretty sure.
Little did they know the East River would rage to levels unseen in years. As you can see from this video viewer Kyle sent us, officials think ice jams on the East River near Green Isle Park started the problems.
As the evening went on, we knew that it was going to be more problematic, so we didn't take any chances.
With evacuations ordered, rescues began. The sheriff's office deploying its MRAP rescue vehicle, an old military tank big enough to plow right through floodwaters. While they were in neighborhoods, water began creeping closer to the sheriff's office itself, prompting them to move all their squad cars and transfer computers and sensitive equipment to higher ground.
We didn't have time to be filling enough sandbags, so I actually made a call to Menards, talked to the store manager, and we bought as many tarps as they had in stock.
We suggested that we use tarps and fill them with sand and roll them like a log, and it became a super sandbag.
Their focus turned to keeping water from knocking out power and lift stations. The system's meant to keep sewage from backing up into people's homes.
Public Works went to sensitive areas, took out the canvas, dumped the sand in, wrapped up to make basically taco sandbags, but very large, as wide as 25 feet at a time.
With one problem contained came the next.
We called 20 people back in.
Large neighborhoods began flooding, prompting the Green Bay Metro Fire Department to call in backup, deploying boats down streets to take people to higher ground.
For the folks that have been evacuated, we don't have any idea when we're going to be able to allow them back in. It really is based upon the road passability and getting the roads open so that we can actually get them back in there.
And that goes for bridges too. Fontecchio provided us this video showing floodwaters raging against a bridge at GV and Hoffman Road in Bellevue. He says even though the water didn't spill onto that bridge, its stability may have been compromised.
You get that kind of water, you can actually buoyant the bridge up, you can knock girders over. Bad things can happen structurally to bridges.
Fontecchio says all bridges will need to be fully inspected before they can reopen to traffic.
Manitowoc County has also made an emergency declaration. Sharon Bajenda has been monitoring the situation there, where the Shoto Dam is causing concern tonight.
Manitowoc County Emergency Services Director Travis Walk tells me 20 homes were evacuated in Manitowoc County. This morning, emergency responders were out here on boats rescuing people safely out of their homes. Walk says an ice jam near the Shoto Dam is what caused the flood here in Manitowoc County. The main affected areas include the West Twin River at and north of the dam. Evacuees with no place to stay here were taken to the Manitowoc County Highway Department, where Red Cross and Manitowoc County Human Services provided help for those in need. But that shelter has since closed. People who live in the area are coming by to see the flood near the Shoto Dam. Some say they're concerned because they know some of the evacuees.
I was a little concerned about my sister, Sandy Madsen's, across the other side of the river. And she told me this morning that she had to evacuate and that she knows she has 6 inches of water in her garage. Her home isn't much higher than her garage at this point. And I'm just hoping that she's taken enough stuff with her.
Yeah, it's probably about maybe 5 miles of the West Twin River. We're seeing flooding on the East Twin River as well in the Mishicot area. It's not as bad, but probably about 5 miles of the West Twin between Shoto and Highway 147 is the worst area.
Walk says people should avoid the Shoto area due to the flooded roads. He doesn't know at what point the water will die down or when the evacuees will be able to return to their homes. In Manitowoc County, Sharon Bajenda, Action 2 News.
Sharon, thanks. Rescues continue and many roads remain closed in Fond du Lac due to flooding. As we reported yesterday, ice jams caused the river there to back up and spill into the surrounding community. Authorities are again asking drivers to not drive through flood waters. The Fond du Lac Fire Department says more than 150 emergency responders and 14 neighboring agencies responded to that city's flooding.
It will likely take some time before we know how much damage these floods have caused. Governor Tony Evers says he and state officials are monitoring the situation and will provide resources when and where it can. He's crediting local emergency officials for taking on that role right now.
As Outagamie County and other counties are actively getting information to people so that if they need to evacuate, they can, and to have places available. I know Fond du Lac County had schools open last night or places where people could evacuate to.
The families of Ellen Matthews and David Schultes are finally seeing justice more than 40 years after their murders. The pair had been camping in the town of Silver Cliff in 1976 when they were found dead. Just this afternoon, the Marinette County Sheriff's Office announced it believes it has the person responsible. They say that man is 82-year-old Raymond Van Oevenoven of Lakewood. He was arrested yesterday and is now being held in the Marinette County Jail. As we've been reporting, 25-year-old Schultes was found shot to death in McClintock Park. 24-year-old Matthews was also shot, but her body was found in a wooded area outside the park. She had also been sexually assaulted.
And our investigators, through proper and careful preserving of evidence of that assault, was vital in bringing us to where we are today.
Van Oevenoven's arrest comes 8 months after the sheriff's office released new sketches of a suspect created using that DNA. We are expecting to learn more details about this case next week when authorities plan to file a criminal complaint.
The severe weather outlook is in the moderate category. Not everybody, but for some of you, the flood threat obviously continues. And additionally, we have this flood warning, which also continues right through mid-afternoon tomorrow for much of east central Wisconsin, and especially so near these area rivers. So we'll continue to monitor that for you. We've had some spotty light snow showers and flurries throughout the day. Here's Storm Center 2 snow tracker, and there's still some detectable light snow, or maybe there's a few sprinkles in there, especially to the west of the Fox cities, and probably some other flurries out there as well. And as you can see here, there are some other spotty light snow showers to the northwest, and some of those may find their way here as the night wears on. The other thing about today, it's colder, a little bit of a biting wind, and that northwest wind will continue to funnel in some colder air for not only tonight, but actually through much of your weekend. So here's Storm Center 2's pinpoint predictor, and this is 7 p.m., and you can see those spotty light snow showers mainly during the first part of the night. And in fact, later tonight, we probably get some breaks in the clouds. Temperatures tonight will drop down into the teens for many of you northwest to Green Bay and the Fox cities. Elsewhere, though, throughout the valley, the lakeshore, mostly low 20s tonight. Here's your day tomorrow. Some leftover clouds early in the day will gradually give way to increasing amounts of sunshine. When it's all said and done, at the very least, it will be partly, if not mostly, sunny for your day Saturday, with daytime high temperatures again for most of us only in the 30s. Might there be a 40 in there somewhere? Possibly. We'll wait and see. The wind tomorrow out of the west-northwest, about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wind chills in the morning, mostly in the teens, and then it'll feel mostly like 20s throughout the remainder of the day. Tomorrow night, just a few passing clouds in there, nothing to worry about. That takes us into your Sunday, 7 a.m. Some morning sunshine to start the day, even through the noon hours. Some of you over extreme eastern Wisconsin will have some sunshine lingering, but not for long. Then the clouds thicken. Here you are mid to late afternoon. And as you can see, a few spotty snow showers popping up, especially to the north. We could all see a few spotty snow showers late in the day or during the evening hours. Not expecting any accumulation there. Your high Sunday actually a little bit closer to 40 for most of us across the area. Should also mention Tuesday night into Wednesday, maybe some snow showers or flurries there. Otherwise, no significant storminess inside. Our main concern will continue to be right through tomorrow and perhaps beyond.